800 horsepower, 5,500 pounds, and the exhaust note is being legally murdered. This is the 2027 Lamborghini Urus SE. In 2025, Lamborghini sold 10,747 cars, a brand new all-time record for a company that has been building some of the most outrageous vehicles on the planet for over 60 years. And here's the number that puts that record in perspective. Nearly 60% of every single car Lamborghini sold that year was one model. Not the Revuelto, not the Temerario, the Urus. A plug-in hybrid SUV that weighs 2.5 tons and costs $250,000 before you start adding options. And the 2027 version, which has just been caught testing in the Arctic Circle with almost no camouflage, is about to make the one that set that record look like the warm-up act. Welcome to MotorDreamer, where we go deeper than the spec sheet and into the story behind the cars that actually move the needle. Today we're breaking down the 2027 Lamborghini Urus SE, the most powerful, most controversial, and most unexpectedly dominant SUV on the planet right now. To understand why the 2027 version matters, you need to understand what the SE already did when it arrived in 2024. Before the SE, the Urus Performante was the benchmark, a combustion-only, 657 horsepower SUV that Lamborghini had actually made lighter and more focused than the model before it. Then the SE arrived and rewrote the whole conversation. World's first PHEV super SUV. Combined output of 789 horsepower and 701 lb-ft of torque from a twin-turbocharged V8 working alongside a 189 horsepower electric drive unit. Emissions cut by 80% compared to older Urus variants, and 35 miles of pure electric range from a 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery mounted beneath the rear cargo area. The market responded by buying every single one Lamborghini could make. The SE is currently sold out until 2027, not waitlisted, sold out. And now Lamborghini is about to drop something even more extreme on top of it, and the spy shots from Sweden tell the whole story before the press release even exists. The 2027 Urus SE Performante was caught testing near the Arctic Circle in February and March of 2026, with barely any camouflage hiding what's coming. And what's coming looks genuinely different from anything wearing an Urus badge before it. The front fascia is Performante-inspired, a diagonal bar running from the DRL to the corner lights, separating the side and center air intakes in a way that looks sharper and more aggressive than the current SE. The intakes themselves are taller and narrower, and the brake cooling vents are visibly larger, a detail that tells you exactly how seriously Lamborghini is taking the stopping hardware on this thing. Carbon fiber wheel arches flare out wider than the current model, housing 22-inch wheels wrapped in 325/35 tires that fill every millimeter of available space. Around the back, a liftgate-mounted spoiler and a redesigned rear diffuser complete the picture. This is not a facelift. This is a statement. The 2027 Urus SE Performante looks like a vehicle that knows it's about to cross 800 horsepower and decided the exterior should warn you first. Inside, Lamborghini's design philosophy for the Urus has always been what they call feel like a pilot. And the SE took that idea further than any previous version. The dashboard has been restructured around the driver, with anodized aluminum trim details replacing heavier conventional finishes, new panel and dashboard coverings that reduce visual weight, and a digital interface that Lamborghini describes as sharper and more intuitive than anything in the previous generation. The Ad Personam customization program means that technically no two Urus SE interiors are identical. Buyers can specify colors, materials, stitching patterns, and finishes across virtually every surface. In a vehicle that starts at $250,000, that level of personalization is expected. But what makes it genuinely impressive is that the execution matches the ambition. This is not a cabin that feels like a German luxury SUV wearing an Italian costume. It feels like a Lamborghini, drama first, comfort second, and absolutely no apologies for either. Now the powertrain, and this is where the 2027 story gets genuinely complicated in the best possible way. The current SE produces 789 horsepower combined from its 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 and electric motor. The 2027 SE Performante is expected to push that number past 800 horsepower, making it the most powerful production Urus ever built. Torque figures are expected to climb beyond the SE's already extraordinary 701 lb-ft. The all-wheel drive system will be retuned for a more rear-biased delivery, More yaw, more slip, more of the tail-out character that made the original Performante such a weapon in corners. The suspension componentry will be more aggressive. The chassis tuning will be sharper. On paper and in the Arctic testing footage, this vehicle behaves like something that has absolutely no right to move the way it does given everything it weighs. But here is the detail that nobody in the hype cycle wants to talk about, and it matters more than the horsepower number. The European Union is enforcing a new sound limit of 68 decibels for all new passenger vehicles. The 2026 Ford Mustang GT hits 86 decibels in track mode. The Lamborghini Revuelto can reach 130 decibels. The 2027 Urus SE Performante, the most powerful Urus ever made, will be legally required to be quieter than a library reading room by comparison. The engine note that made Urus owners feel like they were piloting something genuinely savage is being regulated out of existence. And for a brand whose entire identity is built on sensory drama, that is not a small thing. Here is the other number the spec sheet is less proud of. The SE weighs 5,523 pounds in the US market. That is 600 pounds more than the combustion Performante it replaced. 600 pounds. For context, that is heavier than a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a vehicle that exists specifically to be the heaviest, most opulent thing on the road. The original 2022 Urus Performante was celebrated precisely because Lamborghini had made it lighter and more focused than the model before it. The 2027 version goes in the opposite direction. More power, yes, but also more weight, more complexity, and a battery pack mounted beneath the rear cargo area that fundamentally changes how the vehicle distributes its mass. Critics have been direct about this. At 5,500 pounds, you are fighting physics on every corner, every braking zone, and every moment where the chassis has to react quickly. The engineering team at Sant'Agata is clearly talented enough to make it work. The spy footage shows it power sliding through Swedish snow with shocking composure. But the weight is real, and buyers who are choosing the 2027 Performante over the 2022 combustion version for performance reasons should go in with both eyes open. On price, the 2026 SE starts at $246,495 MSRP, but walk into a dealer, and the real number looks different. Current market listings show fully optioned 2026 SE units sitting at $333,000 to $340,000 once add Personam options, carbon fiber packages, and dealer markup are applied. The 2027 SE Performante is expected to open above $280,000 before options, which means fully loaded examples will almost certainly breach $380,000 to $400,000 territory. For that money, the competitive set includes the Bentley Bentayga Speed, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, and the Aston Martin DBX 707. None of them make 800 horsepower. None of them are sold out before they even launch. And here is the twist in the longer story. Lamborghini has officially canceled the Lanzador, their planned all-electric SUV. No Lamborghini EV is coming for the foreseeable future. The company has confirmed that the Temerario's 10,000 RPM twin-turbo V8 will be around for at least 2 product life cycles, which means the Urus successor, currently expected no earlier than 2027 or 2028, will almost certainly carry a version of that engine. The PHEV era the SE represents may turn out to be a bridge rather than a destination. And that makes the 2027 SE Performante something genuinely rare, the peak expression of a powertrain philosophy that Lamborghini is already planning to move beyond. So here is where the 2027 Lamborghini Urus SE Performante actually stands. It is heavier than it should be. It will be quieter than anyone wants. And it costs more than most people will ever spend on anything with 4 wheels. And it is going to sell out before most buyers even get a chance to configure one. Because 800 horsepower in an SUV body wrapped in carbon fiber tuned to power slide through Arctic snow with a badge that has accounted for 60% of Lamborghini's record-breaking sales does not need to be perfect to be irresistible. It just needs to be the most extreme version of the thing it already does better than anything else. And in 2027, that is exactly what it is. The weight is real. The sound restriction is real. The price is genuinely eye-watering. And none of it is going to slow this car down in sales or on the road. Would you take the 2027 Urus SE Performante over the Bentayga Speed or Cayenne Turbo GT? Or does the weight and the silenced exhaust change the conversation for you? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to MotorDreamer and we'll see you in the next one.